Uh, okay, I'm gonna go. Okay, I'm going now. All right. Oh God. Wait a second. Actually, I think I'm gonna skip. Okay, I'm going to skip the Walmart. I'm just gonna go because I actually don't need fish oil. I can go 1 day without it. I'm gonna skip Walmart and I'll just go right to Jack in the Box. I think. Yeah, yeah. Simon, what is that? Are you? Is it something burning? Whatever. Okay. Hey, Dad.
Hello. Hey, Lolo. Hey, I'm here now. I got one more day work and then I'm off for three days. Okay. 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 Hello. How you doing? Yeah. Oh. Can you hear me? Yeah, I don't know. It turned to no signal for a second. That was really weird. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think tomorrow I have to work, and then I get off at 10:30, and then the
Alright, I realized I'd rather have this. Alright, a second.
Really? That's fast. I hope you guys having a good time. Having a good time from here. Yeah. So that went good. That's good.
Hey. Hey. Instead of, I realize Jack in the Box sucks. I'd rather have this. There it is. There's actually there's hamburger steak in this, but chili. There's hamburger steak under the chili. There's mac salad.
Oh yeah, that's the one I got her a cookbook for Christmas. But yeah, I think that's the one I sent her initially. Called Turkey Dynamite. Down to earth. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's good. You guys like it? It's good, huh? Yeah, there's like an old Chinese guy, and mostly I help him prep the vegetables and stuff like that. I do the salad bar. Right now, what I'm doing is I cut up all the vegetables and keep the salad bar filled. Yeah, but basically I switch around to everything, you know. So I'm gonna learn how to do everything. So, yeah. Okay.
Oh, turn up. I gotta put the camera up a bit.
Yeah, I can't wait to see you guys. Yeah, it's all good. Everything's good. I'm looking forward. I love you. Hear me? Yeah. Hello. Okay. Yeah, looking forward to see you guys.
Yeah.
Hello. Hello. Hear me? Hello. Can you hear me? Hello. Hello.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, I was just saying, yeah, I'll see you guys soon. I'll see you guys soon. See you day after tomorrow. Okay. Yeah, so I got work tomorrow. Yeah. Okay. Hello. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay, I'll see you soon. Okay, bye, I love you. Yeah.
I ate the whole thing. Huh? I got some, just a slight amount of sauce. I pretty much ate all of it. Oh shit. Oh, that's good stuff. That was a really good. The restaurant I went to is really good. Well, it's not even really a restaurant. It's basically a food. Um, I call it a restaurant, whatever. It's a food. Um, a food shack, a restaurant, whatever. What do you call it? Yeah. Yeah, it's a restaurant, I guess. Yeah, a restaurant. It's like a smaller restaurant, but it's good. It's really. Oh, it's really tasty. It's really really delicious. Ah. Mm. Oh yeah, it's like a takeout. It's a food takeout place. Yeah. Ah. 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 Oh. Oh yeah, it tasted really good. Whew. Ah. Ah. You, I think there's some in California. It's called Ellen. Okay, okay. Oh yeah, it's like a barbecue shack, but it's called L&L Hawaiian Barbecue. I went to L&L. I think there's L&L in New York, California. But it's called L&L Hawaiian Barbecue. It's a good place. Oh, that's all good, man. Oh. Uh, uh, that is so fucking pussy. Oh, that's so fucking pussy. Whew. 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 Oh shit. Ah. Oh man. Oh wait, I don't even need this. I'm on YouTube. I forgot. I forgot. I'm on fucking YouTube. I'm on fucking YouTube, man. Yeah. Jesus. Oh god, what? Ah. Ooh. Whew. Ah. 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 Oh. Whew. Oh. Fuck. Whew. Oh man. Whew. Okay, I just thought of something fun to do, so I'm gonna do this for fun. Let's just watch some fucking PUA videos and shit. Well, not even really PUA videos, but I like to laugh at these videos. Like, these PUA videos, I don't watch them to learn. Like, they're all fucking so retarded. I watch them to laugh. But it's just fun to watch them, because they're fucking so stupid. Oh my god. Whew. Whew. Alright, let's what am I looking at? Okay, so hold up. Alright, hey, okay. What are these fuckers talking about in this bullshit? No, where'd it go? No. God damn it. Platonic female friend. Holy shit. No. Slide into the DMs. Successfully slide into the DM. Fucking go down in the DM. You go down in the DM. It goes down in the DM. Oh god. Whew. God, this is so retarded. I doubt she's platonic with anyone. I doubt she has any relationships which don't involve fucking. Get the extra strong sterilized condoms. Oh god, it's retarded. Ah, god. This is so retarded. This is so fucking retarded. Oh, these fucking... Oh, God, these idiots. These idiots. I'm gonna show them how to do it in my videos, man. My fucking videos I make in like 2 weeks. It's gonna show... It's gonna show some, good shit, yeah. Slide in the DMs. Goes down in the DM. Down in the DM. Alright, fuck this shit. Fuck this shit. RSD Reddit. I wonder if this still gets fucking people on it. Ah, dude. What is PUA? Holy shit. Ah. This sub is dead. PU anus. PU anus. Whew. PU anus. Alright, Jesus. Oh god, I don't want to read about Elliot Rogers. Let me get out of this shit. Let me just get away from anything that says Elliot Rogers on there. Jesus. I look pretty good with that. I look pretty good with this fucking blue shirt. Oh, I should put the shirt back on. I look good with that blue shirt. Damn. I should wear that shit. Yeah, I look decent in the blue shirt. My crappy old van. Okay, what the fuck?
I'm here on the streets of San Francisco, and I wanted to talk about the van because
The van.
on the Inner Circle group, somebody requested that I post a video about so-called van game. There's a lot of different things that go into van game, as it were, and I've had the van for about 7 years now, and in that time, the official van count is now 104. I'm a bit of an authority on the subject, I dare say, and today I'm going to share some of my insights with you. If you wanted to get a magical vehicle of your own, you know what to expect, you know the ins and outs. But before I get into that, let me tell you a bit history, if you will, about how the van came to be. It just happened organically. I didn't go out and say, I want to get a
It's Bang Bus. Okay, I'm gonna make my own Bang Bus videos, dude.
van. What happened was I had a new assistant, this guy Fingerman. You might remember him from some of my older videos. And he moved to San Francisco from Montreal just to interview for the assistant position. Like, by no means did he have it or anything like that. He just moved here to interview for it. And I told him, well, one of the prerequisites is you have to actually have a vehicle, because you're gonna have to drive me around and stuff. So he goes, I will get any vehicle that is required. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I was chatting with my buddy Herbal, if you remember Herbal from the game, aka Tynan, same dude. And we're like, yo, what vehicle should we have this guy get? And he's basically like, we talked about it for a while, and we decided I told Fingerman, I'm like, look, you can either get an ambulance, you can get a limousine, or you can get some kind of creepy van. So lo and behold, 2 weeks later, he shows up with this fucking van from Craigslist, this 1980 Ford Econoline E350 van with a 400 big block V8 engine that gets 8 miles per gallon. And we're like, okay, cool. I didn't think you were gonna actually get it, but he did. And it just kind of spun out of control from there. And then one day I come out of my house and I saw these people like vandalizing the van, no pun intended. They're like painting some shit. I'm like, what the fuck? And I storm up to like, you know, chastise them or whatever. And it turns out it's my friends, Christoph and Todd and Tynan, and they're actually painting like this pedo bear and like Tupac Shakur on the van. And I'm like, oh, these guys. And then that's how it kind of spun out from there. The mural began getting crazier and crazier. Of course, nowadays, I've changed it to a more of an incognito, a less attention-getting thing because, you know, I started to get attention, and obviously I do like boot camps. I use the van as kind of like a mobile center of operations, kind of like the A-team. And I noticed that, you know, it was getting attention, and I wanted to maintain client privacy, so gave it a little GTA reskin, if you will, to like lose the heat, to lose the stars. But in any case, like I said, I've had the van for 7 years now, and I've really learned all the ins and outs. It was funny too because Tyler, I remember when I first told him about the van, he just thought it was like a joke. You know what I mean? He's like, okay, that seems kind of ridiculous. LOL, just Jeffy doing some crazy nonsense again. But then he actually came to San Francisco on a boot camp, and I let him take the van out, and he goes into the venue, and it's funny. I remember that, I'll never forget this. His first approach, he talks to the girl, he kind of gets a blow off, you know, like, hi, nice to meet you. Second approach, he gets a kiss, and he gets a little make out, and the girl runs off. Third approach, talks to her for 15 minutes, says, hey, you got to see my buddy's car. Takes her outside, they go in the van, she's like, oh my God, this is amazing. Takes her in, he's like, oh my God, and he like hooked up with her in the van. And he was like, he's back in the club in like 20 minutes later. He's like, I couldn't believe it, dude. He's like, it was like the van was doing the pickup for me, right? Because once they got inside, they see like all the posters and all the, you know, the crazy stuff. And it really does, in many cases, do the work for you. After that, Owen's like, you know what? I thought the van was a joke. I'm a believer now, man. I'm a believer. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Now, having said all that, let's get actually inside the van, and I'm going to show you a couple things that make the van so special and why people, why girls, when they get in, they say, this is awesome, as opposed to, what the hell is this? This is creepy. Get the fuck away from me, you potential murderer. Yes.
That is like the best feature in the fucking world, right?
So then we arrive at the van. Now, one thing to note here is watch her reaction when she sees the inside of the van. Is she frightened by it, or is she like enthralled by it? She's enthralled by it. Why? Because again, it's all an extension of the fun. The interior of the van is designed, like yes, on the outside it looks like Jose's murder van, but it's what's on the inside that counts. Okay? So she's like, oh, it's amazing. And then as they get in, it's kind of funny too. These like chodes roll by and they like try to caution the girls. They're like, don't get in the van.
Oh my God!
Here's the phone charger.
You have the most amazing fucking shit ever.
I know. It's magical.
Fuck.
It's a magical mystery tour. It's too late for that.
The Chodes.
Too late for that.
The Chodes walk by.
So now that
Don't get in the van.
The most amazing fucking shit ever.
I know. It's magical.
Fuck.
It's a magical mystery tour. It's too late for that. Too late for that.
Did it and done.
So now that I told you about the origin of the van and how it came to be, I want to get into some of the particulars of van game. If you're going to get your own vehicular romance location, if you're going to get your own mobile base of operations like the Heart of Gold here, and in case you didn't know, that is the official name of the van, is the Heart of Gold, based on the revolutionary starship from the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy that was stolen by the galactic president Zaphod Beeblebrox and runs on an improbability engine. And it could be very well said that the van also runs on improbability because it's ludicrous what's been done with this thing. 104 served to this day. So again, I've learned a thing or two about how to run so-called van game in that time. So again, why don't you step into my
I'm learning van game.
office and we'll dig into the particulars a bit.
I'm learning van game.
So on board, I'm the captain. So climb aboard. I guess I should put on the hat. How do I look? People are always asking me, Jeff, this van, doesn't it cause like undue attention from the authorities? Like one of my friends labeled it rolling probable cause. And you know what? Again, it kind of is in that paradigm, if you will, of nobody gives a fuck about you as long as you're not doing some weird shit. Okay? I mean, it's just a car. Like, honestly, it's just a car. It's no different than any other vehicle aside from the fact that it's bigger, it's made out of steel, and, you know, it's 40 years old. But, you know, I can think of a couple times, actually, that my assistants were driving erratically. And one time, my assistant, Gary, he got pulled over out in, like, some hick town, like out in Davis or something. And they're like, what kind of, the cop says to him, what kind of van is this? And he goes, it's a consensual sex in the missionary position for the sole purpose of reproduction, van officer. And the cop is like, anyway, I don't even want to touch that. Like, I don't even want to fucking deal with that shit. Like, okay, here's what the infraction was, and just moved along. In fact, I actually got pulled over because I had like a busted tail light recently, and they came up on me, and they came up on both sides, right? And they came up kind of hard, like they're gonna fall. Like, we've got a delinquent in here. We've got some sort of miscreant, possibly one of the Mexicans Donald Trump warned about. And then they roll up, and I'm like fucking Whitey McGee. I'm like, hi, how's it going, guys? And they're like, oh, didn't mean to disturb you, sir, but your light's a bit dim. I'm like, oh, wow, that, thank you. They're like, let me just run your. This shouldn't take long. We'll just run your information. And the one guy goes, like, the older guy goes back to run it, and meanwhile his like younger partners up here, he's like, oh, is there anyone else in the van? I go, no, take a look. I pull the curtains back, and he looks in, and he sees this shit, and he literally says the phrase, "Purple Rain, awesome, dude." I'm like, holy shit, Purple Rain, awesome, dude. Is that and then the other guy comes back, he's like, well, it's all clear. You know, just get that light fixed. I'm like, oh, is it like a fix-it ticket? He's like, no need for this. So sorry to bother you. And then they go away. I'm like, oh, I guess this is like the white privilege I heard about on TV or something. So cool, awesome. Purple Rain, awesome dude. So again, no, I don't get like hassled or anything like that. But anyway, that was kind of a side tangent. What I wanted to talk about is like why I got the van. You know, I told the story of how I got the van, but the why, I mean, it's kind of self-explanatory. Remember, logistics is king. As I said in previous videos, a newbie with amazing logistics is probably going to get more, you know, romance in the night, as opposed to an advanced guy who has terrible logistics and has to drive an hour away from the club. Even if you live right across the street, it can be difficult for their hair to like go into a house, et cetera, et cetera. So if I have this parked around the corner from the club, mind you, not directly in front of the club, that's a rookie mistake, then it's very easy for me to just be like, yo, here, come, let's go grab some smokes or something out of my car. Oh, it's in my car. Come to the car, hook up, and she's back to the friends before they even know she's gone, right? So the whole friend thing doesn't even come into play. It sort of sidesteps that whole issue. And by the way, the reason you never want to park your vehicle, your van, your station wagon, your, you know, Astro camper van, whatever you end up getting, if you do decide to go this route, you don't want to park it directly in front of the club, because if you do that, they're going to see you getting into the car, like getting into the van, and people, like drunk people outside, will laugh and be like, oh, like it makes a scene. It's like, oh, getting in a van, ha, oh, right? And this could make the girl feel self-conscious. It could kind of ruin the mood, et cetera, et cetera. So again, you want to park it slightly away from the venue. Now, again, the why seems pretty self-explanatory, but now let's get into some of like those kind of deeper particulars, like I was talking about right there. again, a newbie just starting out might not know to park kind of away from the club. So let's kind of get into some of the stuff I've learned over the past 7 years of having driven this thing around. I'd kind of like to touch on a couple.
Dude, this is some good fucking information. Okay, so you park the van away from the club. You gotta park it away. Then you just tell the girl, "Hey, yo, let's go get some. Let's go like get some weed in my car, right?" You walk over to the van. Hell, it's in the van. It's shit. That's some good shit. Hey, her randoms. I say the fuck. Oh man. So. Hey yo, who's still here? Apparently I got 17 viewers. I don't know who's here, but I'll watch this shit.
Of failed vans that I've seen, because I've seen other guys try to do the van thing and they fail at it like miserably, and they're like, why isn't it working? It's because there's a couple of ways that I've seen it screw up. Like there was this one student I had recently, and he had a van, and so literally at the club he recognized my van, so he parked his van in front of mine like it was like a caravan. And then he pulled some girl to it, and then the girl wouldn't get in the van. Like, and beforehand, I was like, "Oh, so how many girls have you, hooked up with in your van?" He's like, 6. Like, oh, that's, not very many, but it's, reasonable for a start. And then that one girl wouldn't get in, and then I said, I'm like, let me have a look at this van. And I look inside of it, I'm like, holy shit! No fucking wonder she wouldn't get in this shit. It's like literally the creepiest, like white, like not even windows blacked out, like no windows. Instead of like curtains here, it's like a fucking metal bulkhead, like a steel bulkhead with like perforations in the metal, so you could like, it looks like prison. It looks like a fucking prison with like a door that locks with like a padlock and shit, like this gray industrial looking shit. And I'm like, oh, that's fucked up. And that's before I even looked inside. I look inside and there's like a bed area, but the thing is, like, this bed, as you can see, it's kind of raised up, like, what is this, maybe like a foot? But then this guy, what he had, it was like up to here. Like it literally was up to here, and he had like, he's like living in this thing. And so he has like all this shit stored underneath. And then to get up into like the so-called bed, you have to climb up, like, again, metal bulkhead. You have to climb up into this thing. It looks like a coffin-like space, like a fucking sepulcher. Okay, like you're being entombed in like in the morgue or some shit, or at best, like a capsule hotel from Japan or something. I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, now that 6 that you mentioned, that seems amazing. I'm surprised. Like, wow, props to you for even having gotten 6 girls in this fucking like murder like tomb. Like, holy fucking shit. I'm like, this bulkhead has to go. This shit gots to go. Okay, so again, that's another big thing. I notice sometimes guys will be like living in these vans. Part of the reason this one works, it's just like for fun. It's not like some serious, like, oh, he's on hard times, he has to live in this fucking van. Additionally, I found that when guys live in their van, it very quickly begins to smell. Smell becomes an issue. I mean, you're living in this, you're sweating in it, you're rolling around in it, and it can get kind of funky. I keep this shit on clean mode, motherfucker. Like, this shit, it's clean as fuck. In fact, I'll often, students will come in here because I'll run boot camp in here. And additionally, sometimes the occasional girl will come in, they'll make a joke like, oh, I bet this is fucking dirty. I'd hate to see this under a black light. I'm like, oh, you'd hate to see it under a black light? Well, here's the black light. And I like bust out this fucking black light and start like showing it. And I keep this shit spotless. I'm a 42-year-old man, okay? I'm not like rolling around in filth. I keep this shit on spotless mode. And then in fact, when they can't see anything, then I put it like on their clothes, and you'll see like little stains and shit, or little dust shit, like dandruff. I'm like, looks like you're the one that could, you're the one infecting the van with your filth. Right, so
that was a good one.
It can be useful to have a black light, just in case you get that objection. But what are some other vans that I saw that suck?
Oh, really? Let's put on the black light, bitch. That's a good one.
These guys literally, they just got they rented like some U-Haul. They're like, we're going to Vegas, we're gonna have a van, and they rented like some fucking U-Haul with nothing in it, like the opposite of the guy living in it. It's like literally, it says U-Haul on the side. It's a metal floor, and they've thrown down some like little air mattresses or something awful like that, like something shockingly awful. And I mean, again, you want to talk about like some kind of serial killer vibe, like it's not a good look. It's not like fun. That's the bottom line. It looks like a weirdo doing some weird shit, right? And again, that's the vibe you want to avoid at all costs. You want it to seem just like fun. It's cool. It's something, it kind of happened organically. Like if you look around in here, everything in here, it just kind of like came together organically, piece by piece. And it looks very unique. It looks very it's got a lived in feel. It's got a personality to it, right? It's definitely got a, it's definitely got a personality to it. You can definitely say that. And it's kind of funny too. I used to drive this. I used to have two cars that I would drive, and one was this, and the other was like this Mercedes, basically a douchey sports car, like a hardtop convertible 2-seater Mercedes, like the I forget what it was, like the 230 SL, and I would originally go like pick up the girl in this, and then if I decided to go out with her again, I'd be like, yeah, I'll pick you up, and then I'd drive to her house and pick her up in like the Mercedes, and she's like, what the fuck is this? I thought you drove that van. I'm like, oh, LOL, that's just for fun. This is like my real car, ha ha ha, right? And it kind of blew their mind and shit. So again, you don't want to be like the guy living in it. You don't want it to be a weirdo doing weird shit. You want it to be organic and authentic. I think one of the reasons why mine works is for that reason. It's not like some weird like murder van, even though if you look at it from the outside, now that I've removed like the fun mural and everything, from the outside, it looks like Jose's murder van, like / plumbing company or something like that. Like for sure, it looks like a fucking murderer's shit. But like on the inside, it's what's on the inside that counts. Like the feeling in here, I want it to feel like a tree fort. You know, when you were a kid, you had a fort, right? I want it to, you know, I've got some various posters. I've got like, I think that actually helps as well. Because, you know, again, if it was like this brand new van and I show up with this super baller pimp van, like, look, I got this super baller pimp van. It almost looks a little too clean. You know what I mean? It's almost a little too much. Although to be fair, if somebody offered me, they're like, hey, do you want this like $40,000 pimp ass fucking brand new like camper van? I'd take it. But, you know, I'd probably still keep the van, or at least give it to a trusted loved one. I mean, there's just something about this thing. Like, I can't get rid of it. People are like, why don't you get rid of this old van? It's always breaking and shit. It's like, that's like saying, get rid of your grandpa. Like, grandpa's old. Let's just fucking get rid of him. That's like, no, it's a member of the family, you know? And that's what contributes in large part to the, again, the appeal of the van. It's that authenticity that lends it that sort of charismatic aura to the van. So now, a big thing that guys ask me is, Jeff, how do you actually pull to the van? Like, if I got this van, like, how do I go about doing that, right? Like, how do I actually go about pulling to the van? And I think with this, it's guys are just like, they're really, really like overthinking, you know? They're overthinking it. Like, they need some special thing to come to the van. Here's my thoughts on the matter. Like, if the girl wants to go with you, she's going to go with you, regardless of whether it's to the van or to your home or to any other second location. She's going to, like, if you haven't, and what I mean by that is this, if you haven't laid the groundwork where she's actually attracted to you, no amount of finagling, no amount of weird lines, like obscuring the fact, like no amount of trickery or manipulation or coercion or persuasion even is going to get her into your van, you know? We have kind of like a saying, there's no LMR in the van, haha, which sounds super fucking creepy, but what that really means is that at the end of the day, let's face it, no girl is going to get in this van unless she's on some level already made the decision that she likes you and wants to hook up with you, right? Unless she's just like so far gone, like intoxicated or on drugs that she can't even think, in which case you probably shouldn't be pulling that girl anyway, right? So again, if she gets in the van, she's at least open to the idea of like having a make out in the van, and then it's on you not to screw it up. But again, if you do something creepy in the van, then she's going to get right the fuck out. So it really comes down to fundamentals and running a solid set. Now, insofar as like, what do I say when I arrive at the van? I kind of don't say anything. I just be like, hey, let's get out of here. Yeah.
Here's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering. Okay. I'm wondering, like, let's say a girl saw this video for the first time and she never knew that men think about bitches like this. What would she be thinking? Like, wait, what the fuck? Do men actually, like, think about bitches like this? As in, oh, pull the bitches to the van? Okay, pull the bitches to the van and then, you know, open up the set, pull the bitches to the van, and fucking, I don't know, man. It's just kind of funny. Like, as a dude, it's like, as a dude, all of the conversation totally makes sense to me, and like I get it, but a girl watching this video would be like, "What the fuck?" Like, assuming, like, I don't know, she's like never knew this shit. She'd be like, "Wait, what? What do you mean? Do guys think like that? Like pulling bitches to the van? How do you pull bitches to the van?" Ah, that's funny stuff. All right.
Yeah, check it out. Let's go grab this thing out of my car. Blah 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 blah. I mean, sometimes I'll say car, sometimes I'll say van. Sometimes I'll literally say the consensual sex in the missionary position for the sole purpose of reproduction van. It just kind of depends on her sense of humor and if, you know, how the vibe of the interaction is
How do you
going.
pull bitches to the van?
Like, once I get here, I don't make like a big to-do about it.
All right, let's get out of here. Let's go. See, she knows a lot about booze.
She knows. Hey.
Nothing's wrong. Everything's fine.
Like, that's the thing. A lot of guys are like, well, here's the thing, and oh, here it is. Now we're here at the thing, the car, right? Like, no. Literally, I will just get in. I'll just get in. I won't even say anything. I mean, I'm bantering. I'm like, we're talking about other things, but it's not like I stop the conversation to like highlight the fact that we're at the van and like make it some weird thing. You know what I mean? So I just get right in and keep talking. And again, if she likes you, 90% of the time, she's just going to come right in. One thing to bear in mind, though, is this. One thing you do not want to do is like linger. If she's hesitant to get in the van, you don't want to like be sitting in here while she's on the street, like trying to, you know, persuade her to get in. It's either in or out. It is either in or out. Like, don't be like, hey, so do you want to? If she doesn't want to, be like, oh, that's cool. Well, anyway, and then like quickly just shift gears and be like, all right, hey, yeah, we can go back to the club, or we can go get something to eat, or whatever. Or, you know, you can, well, let's just sit in the front and then let's like drive to the second location or whatever. Like, don't get in the back, what have you. Again, it's either in or out. If you're standing here like trying to persuade her to get in, especially if it's like on a busy nightlife thing, people are going to start walking by and it's going to generate attention, the wrong kind of attention. Like, other people are going to be like, what the fuck is this van? And it can just become this shit show. So again, either in or out. It's funny too, because the same student that had that tomb, he had a situation like that, again, where the girl wouldn't come in, and he spent like, I don't know, 10 minutes like with her standing outside trying to get her in. It just looks super weird. It looks kind of creepy. I mean, let's face it, it is kind of creepy. If she doesn't want to get in, don't be like cajoling her to fucking get in. You know, be like, oh yeah, it's cool. Okay, let's go grab something to eat or whatever, and then just play it off, right? Again, this isn't the end-all, be-all of everything. You could go to her house. You could hook up later. You could, you go back to your own home. There's a number of options, and the van's just one of them. It's just one tool that you have at your disposal. When you have a van, a lot of times the girl will ask you. She'll say, "What is this van for?" Right? Now, what is this van for? That's almost, to me, it sounds like a ridiculous question. Like, what is it for? It's for transportation. Like, literally, because, now, look, I get it. Like, when I say that to them, it's almost like I'm saying, like, they're weird for thinking the van is weird or creepy, okay? Look, let's face it, on some level, I get it. This van's massively fucking creepy, okay? However, on another level, I 100% have a 100% deep-rooted belief that, yes, it's just for transportation. Why? Because 90% of the time, I'm just using it for transportation. I'm, like, going to the hardware store and picking up some lumber. I'm going to the gym. I'm going here, going there. Like, I literally drive around in this because I got rid of that other, the douchey sports car. I got sick of playing the musical chairs with the street clean. I'm like, one's got to go. Bye-bye, douche sports car. Keep in the van, right? Because like I said, I really have like a deep-seated empathy and love, if you will. I guess you could call it that. I do have a love for the van. You know, I feel a simpatico. I feel like the van and I are kindred spirits. And so, you know, I decided to keep the actual van. But again, like on some level, I know it's weird to others, but on another level, I have 100% belief that it's just for transportation. And this really goes back to the #1 rule of game, which is what? Whatever you feel, they feel, right? So if you think it's weird, if you think if you are worried that they're gonna think it's weird, then you're gonna betray that in your sub-communications, and it's gonna be more likely to become that self-fulfilling prophecy. And by the way, about that whole like not waiting outside thing, like I remember one time the student pulled a girl to the van. And we were kind of like behind just watching to see if he flubbed it or, so we could give critique and feedback later. And so he comes to the van, he's got the spare key, and then he's like fiddling with like the door and he can't open the door. And the girl's like, what's happening? He's like, hold on. And he's like trying, we're like, what's he doing? After about like 3 minutes of this, him fumbling at the door, the girl gets bored. She's like, this is dumb, I'm going back, and just like fucks off. And then I'm like, yo, what happened? He's like, I couldn't figure out how to open the door. And because I'm like, what were you doing? And he has the key, and he's like, I was doing this. I'm like, dude, that's not the lock. He's like, what is it? I'm like, that's a Phillips screw. Like he's literally trying to open the goddamn van, like by putting the key into a Phillips screw, because this kid was like 21 years old, and he's so young that he's never seen a vehicle where you actually had to put the key inside of a lock to open it. So anyway, that's just kind of a side story. But again, the main thing is this, like, I really enjoy being in
The fuck?
You know, I can just hang out in here. You know, it's great too, taking it to the park, taking it to different places.
Shut up. Oh my god.
This is like a base of operations, you know, and like I said, it's all about fun in here, right? There's all kinds of fun things. Of course, we got Boo's guitar, the classic Boo's guitar. Like, well, I think that they have these. It's like, I'm not getting in this fucking shit. I'm like, oh no, the lights, or something. Like trying to like hype up the fun. She's like, nah, dude, fuck this shit. What the hell is this crap? I'm like, oh yeah, cool. Yeah, well, you know, I just wanted to show it to you. We'll just get in the front. We'll just drive. She's like, no, this is fucked up. Like, you know what? Fuck you. I should have gone with my friend. Fuck your creepy van. I'm out, motherfucker. And sprints across the street like Usain Bolt, jumps into a cab and like fucks off into the night. I'm like, fucking van, right? So the point is, you don't know what a girl thinks is creepy before you actually engage with her and discover what she's all about. So point being, don't speculate a good time up until the moment I enter the van. And she's like, what the fuck is this? I'm like, oh, it's my car. She's like, what? It's like, I'm not getting in this fucking shit. I'm like, oh no, the lights, or something. Like trying to like hype up the fun. She's like, nah, dude, fuck this shit. What the hell is this crap? I'm like, oh yeah, cool. Yeah, well, you know, I just wanted to show it to you. We'll just get in the front. We'll just drive. She's like, no, this is fucked up. Like, you know what? Fuck you. I should have gone with my friend. Fuck your creepy van. I'm out, motherfucker. And sprints across the street like Usain Bolt, jumps into a cab and like fucks off into the night. I'm like, fucking van, right? So the point is, you don't know what a girl thinks is creepy before you actually engage with her and discover what she's all about. So point being, don't speculate about it. Just, again, internalize that it's cool, it's fun, and then find out after, and then calibrate after the fact. I mean, again, there's just a certain element of game that not just in van game, but like in all game, there's going to be that element of randomness. And you got to kind of accept it, and not only just accept it, embrace it. Embrace that that's part of the beauty of the game. It's about meeting new people, finding out what's going on, and just laughing it off when it doesn't work, right? And just kind of, not taking it so seriously. And again, you can kind of see I don't really take shit too seriously.
What up? It's Owen and Max from Real Social Dynamics. And this is actually the first video shot at the new crib. So this is a very, very exciting moment.
Very intimate. Together with us, just you
me
and us.
Max and you for a little gangbang. And what we're going to be talking to you about today is
the ugly lies women tell you.
I didn't say it.
I said it. I'm the bad guy.
Max is the bad guy.
So the basic title of this video is I'm not that kind of girl, which is one of the biggest lies girls tell you. Plus the other huge, disturbing, ugly lies that women will tell you on a daily basis. Are you flexing yet?
Shut up! What are you? What are you doing in your life?
I'm a hunter.
Sorry?
I'm a hunter.
No way. I ate that. Because you're talking to girls, like, so easy.
Oh, merci.
I can't help it. Are you with some friends?
Yeah. Have you been to Autriche?
No, never. Never.
Okay. Is that making you uncomfortable when I grab you like this?
No.
Yeah, I really don't give a fuck about these dudes fucking gaming the chicks in the fucking club. It doesn't. This is retarded. I don't give a fuck about this. Just get to the lies, damn it. This is retarded.
Is it okay?
That's a friend.
Yeah, great. Okay, yeah, great.
No more kissing, okay?
No more kissing.
No more kissing.
No more kissing.
Don't look at me like this.
Yeah, bitch.
No,
No
I
more
don't.
kissing,
No more
bitch.
kissing.
I don't look at you.
How
Drunk.
long did you say are you?
Drunk fucking
One
slut.
more week.
Cool. And the mistakes are those that we remember. We're both naked.
Oh, yeah.
You feel my skin on your skin.
Shut the fuck up.
Really interested in it. But every time that you go to that store, the store owner's like, Max, have you been looking at other stores? Have you been looking at other stores? How many stores have you been to? What's the number of stores you've been to? How many stores have you been to?
You're the only one.
I can't sell you anything if you've been to another store.
No, it's fine. You're the only one.
Okay,
It's
you're the-
fine.
okay. Now, you like the store,
Just you.
and then you say to yourself, you know, this is a great store. I could see myself giving my money to this store for the rest of my life. But if I tell the store owner that I've ever been to another store ever, that I even looked at another store, that I was even interested in another store, that owner is going to become so low self-esteem. He's going to be so crushed that he won't even be able to function. His face is going to turn red, he's going to explode in rage, and he won't be able to function. And every single store that you go to, that you're actually thinking of shopping at that store, because that store really has everything you need for the rest of your life, they're all like that. And it's completely ridiculous, and it's because that store owner is just purely insecure. But that store owner has many, many other great qualities, and so you'd like to work with that store owner. Well, that's often how women feel when it comes to men, because if they actually speak openly...
This guy looks so... He fucking aged. Like, really? I saw videos of him like years ago, and he looked way different. Holy shit. What is up with his fucking face? Dude, this guy got he got old.
About their sexual past, they can get what's called slut-shamed and judged by men. And in fact, women frequently do this, because in my experience, men are actually the least of the slut-shamers. Then what you have is
Other women.
Yeah,
Other women.
imagine the store, and the other stores are going, psst, guess what? He's actually been in a lot of other stores. He's been in lots of other stores. And then the owner's like, they can't come here! But then really the other stores are just doing that to cut you down. So that's what you deal with. Now,
And that's crazy. And even that other women shit talk other women, they have to do that. It's not even that they want to be evil people and shit talk other women. They have to do that because many times they feel that's the only way to make themselves perceive as a good person.
that's right. It's also an evolutionary tactic called derogation of competition. So commonly, if there's somebody who feels that the value that they offer could be served better by somebody else, then their way of dealing with that is by the technique called derogation of competition. You see it in business too, right? Where they're like, that'd be like if we're at RC, like, every other guys that teach what we teach, don't listen to them. They're shit and they're sluts and bad them. And that's what you do. Usually when you're on the kind of losing end, that's what you do. So like in my mind, like a truly beautiful girl inside and out is going to be less inclined to use derogation of competition because she's just in her world. She's just like, I'm living my happy life. But then that girl who's like not quite at that level, they use derogation more. I see it because I'll be in a restaurant with a girl I just started dating, and then a girl maybe like 1 point more beautiful than her walks in, and typically it's those girls that will use derogation and competition. Usually the girls that are truly the most beautiful inside and out, those are the ones that another girl walks in and they don't even blink. They just look forward.
Either that, or they even say like, "Oh, I like her dress." Like they almost give her a compliment because they don't feel like they're in competition. Like, "Oh, this girl's pretty cute. I love her style, right?" And
although there's two different ways that can go too, because that could be I love her dress genuinely as a compliment, or it could be I love her dress trying to frame control. Like, oh, that's a nice dress.
You see,
and
there's
you'll see some of that too.
very deep rabbit hole kind of stuff that we could dig into that. But I always love to say my favorite lie, and we really gotta say it, lie that I hear from women is the I'm not that kind of girl.
Mm-hmm.
That's my all-time favorite. Or like in conjunction with that, I'm not like any other girl. Like it's literally like I'm not like any other girl. Quote by every girl. It's so funny how like, a guy. I feel like us guys don't even have that urge to be unique. Guys are like, oh, I'm like any other dude. They almost like to be like any other dude. Whereas girls always want to be unique. Like I am not that kind of girl. And here's what's interesting. Every time a girl says something along those lines, if you pay very much attention to the subtle tonalities and to the subtle fluctuations in her voice, you kind of feel like it doesn't really come from deep within. It's almost something like they've just reiterated. It's something that they've just practiced saying over and over and over again. Like for example, like, hey, what's get up? My name is Max from Real Social Dynamics, right? Like, you know how many times I practiced that before I became part of RSD? I'm like, one day I'll be ready to say it, you know? And then when I do say it, it's just like this thing that I say. I don't really mean it. And it's exactly the same with the girl saying like, oh, I'm not like any other girl. Oh, I'm not that kind of girl. They just reiterate it because they just repeat what has been induced into them from society, from their upbringing, from being in school, etc. Like you said with that example of the store owner, they're just like, I gotta say that all the time because otherwise this guy's gonna think that I'm
their value, their sexual market value, and their safety is at risk if they don't do that. And this is where it gets really interesting because the reason why this information, in my opinion, will never become public, although it may, I guess, someday, but it probably won't.
Next shitstorm.
Is because, in my personal view, there is a different part of the woman's brain in which she is answering. So let me give an example. Like, let's not put it, say, the woman. Let's look at this maybe even as a man, okay? Because I think whenever you look at someone else, it's really good to take the mirror out and look at yourself. Very, very important habit. One of the best habits I ever learned in my entire life. So let's say that you're just chatting and say that you live in America. And people are saying, like, I love America. This is the best country in the world. Do you love America? There's a certain...
I wonder if I got, did I get copyrighted? I'm still not copyrighted. Alright, I'm not copyrighted. Dude, I can watch these videos, I don't get copyrighted.
Programming where, you know,
I love America.
Yeah, even if you have a mixed opinion, you're like, I love America, I love my country. But then, let's say that you get kind of in a different mood, and people are kind of just like crap talking the government, the president, the administration, the bureaucracy, the way things are run, the budgets, whatever it is. Then you might get in a different part of your brain where you're like, yeah, you know what? Fuck, this country's in fucking shambles. So that was why Michelle Obama, she had that one quote that they really nailed her on, where she said, I can finally be proud of my country, or something like that. And they're like, she doesn't love America. But it was just a different part of her brain, right? She loves America, but she also has frustration. That's like girls where it's like, one part of them is like, I value my body. I wouldn't fuck just anyone. But another part of her body is, and her brain is like, I want to have fun. I want to have new experiences. And so what you can actually do as a fun hobby, I really enjoyed this when I first started game, is go out and as an experiment, try just engaging with girls, not even trying to pick them up or having the outcome of sleeping with them, but just to do a social experiment and try getting the girl to say things about how much sex she's had. And so what you want to do is you want to talk about freedom. Like you want to be like, you know, it's so crazy. People are so stifled. People always like, they're like these like sex Nazis. They make sex in this huge deal. Life is so short. We're just spinning on this earth. I don't want to be confined. I don't want to be uptight. And just get the girl talking, and next thing you know, she's like, oh, I did this, I did that. Now, let's take it a step deeper. You could be like, girl, oh my God, my boyfriend, we were just talking, and Eddie cock. I mean, Eddie cock. I just put it in my mouth.
The gay acting?
Yeah, when I see a cock, Max, Max, he wants it in his butt because he's the bottom.
And
but
I'm
me,
German.
Yeah, I just want it in my mouth. And I swear, girl, like we were at this one party and there's glory holes. There's just cocks everywhere through the wall. And I think I must have sucked like 19 cocks. After all these parties, I've been like 3,000 men, and he's only been with like 2,000 men. What a loser! What a loser! You need to get like 9 cocks tonight. How many cocks have you had? And then she's like, and what's crazy is,
and she feels the energy. She's like, yeah, I actually have had this many cocks and stuff like that.
Yeah, and she's like, oh my God, I haven't caught up at all. I've only been with like 400 guys. And then me and like whoever's doing it, we're like,
and you've told me that story, and then the girl,
I've only been with like 400. Okay, that's probably a bullshit story, but it would be hilarious if it was true. 400. 400. Ah, oh my god. Is Sarah still here? The Sarah girl? Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if Sarah's still here. How many hundreds of guys has Sarah banged? Like 300? 400? Well, I guess we'll see. 300 or 400?
Found out that you're not actually gay, and she's like, no, I gave away all the information.
Yeah, that's where it gets even really crazy. Now, if you want to go deeper on this topic of the lies that are told, what you'll even see, now this gets really fucking deep, is that if one part of her brain was being accessed, and then that's the fun part, and then you slam gears into the conservative side of like judgmentalism and so on and so forth, what I've seen this numerous times, the girl will respond. This is just my experience, that the girl responded by blocking me out of her reality entirely. It was like two different parts of the brain, and the delete thing came in.
She was like, I didn't say that. It never happened.
You get a demonic look. It's a look like Satan comes up, takes possession of the wheel, and it's like you're just a piece of shit, and then just and storms off. And then the rest of the night, like you could wave at her or whatever, and it's like,
I love it.
Like you're being wiped out of reality. And what you'll see now, conversely, you can also get the girl to talk conservative. So on the one side for the experiment, you do the adventurous, fun, and then the other side, what you do is you do conservative. So what you say is you go, you know, so many women these days, they don't value their bodies, and it's like they're just out there, like their body to them is just on full display. They'll give it to anybody, and it's so crazy. I mean, they can get pregnant, and I mean, how's a guy even supposed to take that seriously? And they'll be like, oh, I know, oh my god, my friend's a whore, my friend's a slut. And then what you can do is you can start it with the free side and get her to talk about all the people she fucked. Like, this week I fucked this guy in the ass, it was great. And then you switch it, and without missing a beat, you can actually watch as the part of the brain being conversed with switches over, and then she goes to, yeah, you know, a lot of girls just don't value their body. Oh, they're such sluts. Like right after you said it, and but here's the key: they don't remember, in my experience, the previous conversation because it's a different part of the brain. This is why this information.
Wait, that did not make any.
I've also done it, by the way, where I'll be talking.
That did not make any fucking sense at all, you idiot. That didn't make any fucking sense. You were talking about being conservative, and then, God, it didn't make any fucking sense. You were talking about, it didn't make any fucking sense, whatever. I can't, there's no point listening to it again. This dude didn't make any fucking logical sense at all. It's retarded.
Talking to a girl, say that a girl is on vacation here in the States, and she's from Europe. And then what you can do is you can get her to either give you her number, or like maybe make out with you, or hug you, or like grinding with you, or making plans with you, like all this kind of stuff. And then you can, without missing a beat, get her to say that she has the best boyfriend in the world. Like, because you could be like having fun, like, we should go do this, we can have fun, let's just run over here. You know, you're running off there in your arms. And then without missing a beat, you could be like, tell me about your boyfriend, is he nice? And she's like, he's like the perfect man for me. And
even there, it sounds like something that they have repeated over and over again. Just like this, I imagine like this female operating system, like the fembot or whatever you want to call it, right? And it's like, fun, all these like fireworks in my brain, and then like boyfriend, and it's like drip, boyfriend, and then it's like trigger the boyfriend response. Like boyfriend response activated. So it's like, yes, I have the best boyfriend in the world. Yes. I really love him. But she's still looking at me though. I see it. You see him?
Where are you from?
Isn't that interesting?
Where are you from?
All of a sudden she wants to know where we're talking. I'm from Austria.
Austin?
Austria.
Really?
Do you know where that is?
And I'm going to Spain.
Seeking for opportunity.
Next summer.
Let's
I'm
go.
going to Spain.
Are you trying to bounce your boobies in my face? That's not how it works. I'm going to Spain. Does your boyfriend know you're flirting with other men?
He doesn't care. He's my boyfriend.
Fornicating.
He's the most amazing guy ever, and I would never cheat on him. And we trust each other.
It's like almost like this automated
America
response.
is the best country in the world. God is great. Don't hurt me. I am just saying what I am trained to say. Now, also, I've seen it to where, like one fun one that I'll do is like the girl will be like, I'm getting married, and I'll be like, are you gonna be together forever? They're like, yes, and then just lean in and start making out, and you'll see it. And the reason why it works, essentially in game, the key to all game, in my opinion, is that as you escalate, you raise emotions. So you only escalate on emotional raises, because what the woman does is that when she's deciding whether or not to kiss you, when you go to escalate, whether it's a hand, a handshake, a hug, you know, say coming over here, a kiss, sex, whatever it is, you go to move to escalate, and then she goes within herself and she says, where is my emotion meter? And if the emotion meter is moving up, if the velocity of it is up as you do the escalation, then she is oftentimes warming and welcoming to the escalation. Notice though that that's even an interesting point, because if she's here and is still moving up, she feels within herself and she feels this moving up and she goes for it. If she's way up here but is actually static and there's no upward movement, often, not always, but oftentimes, if you go to escalate, especially if you just met, the fact that it's up here but it's kind of static, they feel within themselves, they're like, the needle's not moving up, so I don't need to, because for a girl, some women perceive sex as a form of currency, because in a society where they only have so much sex that they can give, it's a currency. So if they're like, well, I'm already up here, but my emotions are telling me you already have what you need up here. I'm already validated up here, so now I don't need to do anything. But if the emotions are raising, then she's like, okay, I'm raising. I should go with this escalation because clearly there's something that I'm raising out of this.
Yep.
So what you'll see is, you know, if you're good at game, if you know what you're doing in game, if you don't, you don't. But if you do, what you can do is go like, I'm getting married, and even as and if you just like look at her like in a funny way and her emotions raise, you just lean in and she'll just grab you and start tonguing you down. And these were things that, look, I'm a 37-year-old man. I have 2 kids. This isn't something that I'm out currently doing a lot of. In my mind, if I hear married and stuff, I kind of just get out of there. But look, when I was a 22-year-old kid and I was confused and I didn't understand what I was seeing, to be honest, if I'm just being real, yeah, you know, I was kind of curious back then, like, what the fuck is this all about? And it's not that I'm encouraging anybody to go sleep with a married woman. I'm not. I disavow that behavior. But it's also important just to understand the psychology behind it, because if you don't understand that, then you don't know what to do. And the most important part of this, and maybe we'll kind of cap this, I'd like you to give a couple more examples, but the most important part to understand is that this is happening because you've been told a lie that if you're just a nice guy, that the girl will love you. And what's happening is, it's good to be a nice guy, don't get me wrong. Like, the natural conclusion isn't to be a bad guy. But you're told if you're a nice guy, the girl will love you. If you're a nice guy, the social conditioning part that Max was talking about, like the robot part, will love you. But then there's that part that wants status, that part of her mind reserved for Drake, Russell Crowe, Brad Pitt, Dan Bilzerian, Leo DiCaprio, you know, like Avicii, like whoever the fuck, you know.
It's like all the dicks on 2 legs.
Okay, the dick on 2 legs. So basically, it's a different part of the mind. And understand that even for me and Max, with the limited, small amount of celebrity, so-called, that we have being social media influencers that we've seen, it is not uncommon that girls that watch my stuff or his stuff, I've seen women that walk up and, you know, friends of mine will be like, dude, she was like, while she was talking to you, she just started unbuckling her pants. And I'm like, what are you talking? Like, and they're like, dude, she was unbuckling her fucking pants. I've had it where girls, you know, walk up to me and follow my stuff, and I mean, the reaction is very intense, and that's because there's a part of the mind that gets activated around status, and that's, of course, in the rare cases where girls, like, say, you know, follow our stuff that are really bought into it. A lot of other girls maybe follow and don't have that reaction. They're our friends or whatever, and that's amazing too. But you'll definitely see things like this, and you have to understand there's another part of the brain. So what I would say to you is, because of course, like, as we're talking about this, you know, guys' blood's boiling, right? And then they're going, oh, the girls can't be trusted. No. This is your shortcoming. The title of this video is The Ugly Truth About the Lies, or whatever you're gonna call it, and why it's your fault. The reason it's your fault, let me explain. If you're a store, you want to have, you know, a good relationship with your customer, where you're nice to your customer.
Standard would take a lot of energy, a lot of...
Wait a second, this is retarded. This video's 1 hour long? Fuck. I'm done with this. I'm gonna go to sleep now. 1 hour long. Fuck this shit.
Men or women. But from there, you as a man, you would have had your experiences.
Fuck this, okay.
Getting physically in shape, etc., etc.
Fuck this, okay. Hour long. Fuck that shit. Hour long. Fuck that shit. Okay, I think I'm gonna go to sleep now. Is anyone not AFK? Does anyone care if I turn off the stream? Does anyone care? I'm gonna go to sleep now. Is anyone not AFK? I don't think anyone gives a fuck, right? I'm just gonna turn off the stream and go to sleep, huh? Does anyone care? Anyway? Does anybody give a fuck? I don't think so. I don't think anyone gives a fuck, huh?
Ralph was my favorite minion.
I like Gary. Gary's over here. Oh, he survived. Turret Show's going to take out Gary. Doesn't matter. Apparently, even the tower liked Gary. Gary didn't like the tower, though. Killed it. So that's a little bit unfortunate. BBQ, fantastic suffocation when it comes to the vision, though, to bring things back on point. You can see Jin Air unable to get anywhere outside of their own base. In full lockdown mode. We know that they're good at it, but it isn't how you want to play League of Legends. That is a 4-item Zoe outside of BBQ, and when it's piloted by Tempt, you know you're going to have a bad time.
And now it's let's steal the Baron, hopefully. It's kind of the plan for Jin Air. They can get the Baron, they can continue to delay the game out. As you mentioned, the items starting to roll in for the Xayah. I think they'll still have a lot of struggles in front-to-back team fights, trying to make something out of the Kha'Zix, which is usually the champion that really slows down any true 5v5 advance from a team comp like Jin Air's. It's not impossible, still is some ways back into the game, but how to defend the Baron, how to stop BBQ from just turning off it with the Ornn ultimate, going back to tanking it with the Warmogs, and even running the side lanes with the Banner of Command. Stacking problems that I'm not sure Jin Air will find an answer.
Yeah. The problem is with the QSS, with the fact that, you know, Wraith can help try and keep Teddy alive. There's just so many CC options, so many engage options. If one of them doesn't work from BBQ, they just throw in the next one, and the next one, and the next one. It's just going to be really, really rough. Featherstorm not going to be enough to keep Teddy alive, so whether they can manage to orchestrate some sort of team fight where they can create a victory could work, because if all of those buttons are on cooldown, Teddy, with now the addition of the Ardent Sensor as well as the Zeke's Convergence, should certainly be optimized as far as damage. Like, the damage DPS potential coming out from Teddy is huge. Just don't think he'll ever be able to do any damage for that long.
And that's the right read, Atlas. You know, we saw the Banner of Command going down the bot lane. How can Jin Air respect the pushing side lanes from BBQ, contest the Baron, and then even if they are able to do that, even Sion teleports up, then they're still going to have side lane problems that he won't be able to teleport for. So playing the map in the way Jin Air need to actually fully contest the Baron, to me it'd be a mistake for BBQ to not get a free Baron, or for the game to end without a Baron being taken, because they have so many different options. But mistakes are always possible when it's 7th versus 8th.
Well, there is a wall that's going to be set up, but cancelled relatively early there by Grace. They wanted to try and catch someone off, and they did at least split up BBQ, but decided that they didn't want to go in for anything. They need to find the optimal team fight if they are going to get in there.
Need to see in items, and you'll notice not enough control wards for BBQ to play around the Baron. Seems like they missed a shop, or the wards are being cleared because they have no control wards around the Baron. That does actually give free time for Jin Air. This is a pretty big mistake by BBQ. They need to fully reset and actually get control wards for the pit. They should control the pit. They have so many champions to patrol. Put down a control ward, and Jarvan and Ornn to be unkillable when it comes to face-checking vision. Not having enough wards is going to delay their movement or make them take a more risky Baron than they should be.
They just haven't been back to base in a really, really long time. They had brilliant ward coverage around this topside river, but there's Call of the Forge God. Is it actually going to matter? Nope. They at least get Teddy's ultimate out. Nothing else. And it's one ultimate down.
They're trying to do this on the cheap. They're trying to do it without a recall for wards. Seems unnecessary. Wraith walking up.
Yeah, Grand Entrance is going to be an exit this time around, and doesn't even need to use the flash. Can just battle dance over to Teddy.
They now have the double control ward down. This is great. Much better here. Much cleaner. Turning on to Umti, but no follow-up damage yet.
Yeah, oh, wow. I think that may have actually been a dead Kha'Zix if that Paddle Star had landed, but didn't. Thank goodness for any Jin Air fans out there. Jin Air actually going to utilize this moment to potentially push down this outer target mid lane. Not able to. It was easily enough that way. Oh, okay.
Now that was close. It would have been a one-shot.
Spamming your F button as quickly as possible and praying to God, I think.
Hey, Simon, what are you doing?
Prayers were answered.
What are you doing in the garage?
There's so many options.
Working out?
Is this exactly what they want to do? Do they want to be
Okay.
focusing this guy? It's Call the Forge God once again.
Okay, basically.
So on. It's actually causing a ruckus in the back line.
I'm probably gonna start going to sleep. I don't want. Well, wait, you don't make noise working out, yeah, but. I mean, okay, yeah, you can work out. But ideally. But wait, it's not even midnight yet. I guess after midnight, I don't like noise, but it's not even midnight yet. Okay, never mind. It's okay. Never mind. But basically, I was gonna say, normally after midnight, try to like not even do any movement because any noise at all like keeps me up. But it's not even midnight yet.
Objective with this Baron is to finally break.
They should be able to do it. The other option would be do their very best to start another fight. I can imagine that Ignar, with how he's been playing so far today, would certainly like that. Teddy has almost managed to flame Horizon as a team that's 5-13 and behind 4 turrets and a hell of a lot of gold.
I'm just gonna go to sleep now.
He's competitive in
Alright, go to
items against
sleep.
the now 6-kill Varus.